All right, let's talk about something that is a huge deal if you're working in tech, whether you're at a startup or a massive company. Patent exhaustion. We're going to dive right in because honestly, getting this right can be the difference between innovating freely and, well, getting hit with a lawsuit you did not see coming. So let me just ask you this. You go out and you buy some patented component, a piece of hardware, whatever. You paid your money, it's yours now. But do you really own it? I mean, can you do whatever you want with it? Can you change it? Can you turn around and sell it? That question right there is really the whole reason we're talking about this today. And the answer comes down to this core idea, patent exhaustion. Basically, it means that once a patent holder sells their product, their control over that specific item is, well, it's exhausted. It's used up. The book analogy is perfect. You buy a book, you own that physical copy. You can read it, lend it, sell it, but you don't own the story. You can't start printing new copies. That distinction is everything. So let's put a more official name on this. You'll often hear it called the first sale doctrine. And just like the name says, it all comes down to what happens after that very first authorized sale of a product. So why does this even exist? Well, it's a balancing act. It makes sure innovators get rewarded for their inventions, for sure. But it also stops them from having this never-ending monopoly over every single item they've ever sold. It's what allows for a free market, for secondhand sales, for repair shops, for repurposing things, all of which is totally essential for more innovation down the line. But, and this is a huge but, there's a really important limit. Let's say you buy a patented computer chip. You can totally use that chip in your new device. You can even sell the device you build with it. What you can't do is take that chip, reverse engineer it, and start cranking out your own copies. No way. The exhaustion applies to the physical thing you bought, not the patent itself. Okay, now we're getting to the most critical part. Your freedom, your legal protection. It all comes down to the nature of that first sale. This is where you really need to pay attention. The magic word here is authorized. Think of it like a clean chain of custody. The patent holder sells it to a licensed distributor, who then sells it to you. If that chain is unbroken, you're in the clear. Boom. The patent rights for that specific item are exhausted. You are protected. And the difference here is frankly night and day. You buy from an authorized source, you get the freedom to use it, modify it, resell it, you can innovate with total confidence. But if you buy that same thing from some unauthorized reseller, the patent holder could still come after you for infringement. That is a massive legal risk you do not want to take. So, this obviously leads to the million-dollar question for any innovator, right? With all this on the line, how do you make sure you're protected? How do you operate with some certainty here? The answer is good, old-fashioned due diligence. This is just non-negotiable. You need to have rock-solid procurement processes. You have to check that your suppliers are legit, that they're actually authorized distributors. That means reading the agreements, talking to your suppliers, and if anything feels even a little bit off, you get legal advice, period. Okay, enough with the scary legal risks. Let's pivot because if you really understand this doctrine, it's not just about dodging lawsuits. It's about unlocking some incredible new opportunities to grow your business. This is where it gets really exciting. Once you've made that proper authorized purchase, just look at what you can do. You are free to modify that thing, you can resell it, you can repurpose the technology for a totally different field. You can build it into a bigger, more complex system of your own design. This is a real competitive advantage. Think about the power of repurposing for a second. Let's say your company buys some amazing patented sensor that was originally made for a healthcare device. Then, one of your engineers realizes, hey, this would be perfect for our new line of warehouse robots. Well, because of patent exhaustion, you're free to do that. You can pivot and attack that brand new industrial market without having to ask the patent holder for permission. But it's not always quite that simple. While the idea gives you a lot of freedom, there are a couple of hidden traps and complexities you really need to be aware of if you want to navigate this stuff safely. So here's the first big one to watch out for: post-sale restrictions. A patent holder might sell you a product, and yeah, their patent rights are exhausted. But they can bury clauses in the sales contract or the license agreement that still limit what you're allowed to do with it. These are totally separate contractual obligations. And the main takeaway here is that patent exhaustion is not some magic wand that makes contracts disappear. If you sign an agreement, you're likely bound by it. So reading the fine print on every single purchase is absolutely critical. You could accidentally sign away the very freedoms you thought you had. The second big risk pops up when you're doing business globally because different countries have different rules. The U.S. uses what's called an international exhaustion rule. That means a legal sale anywhere in the world exhausts the U.S. patent rights. But many other countries use a national rule. There, a sale in Germany only exhausts the German patent rights, not the French or the Spanish ones. This can turn importing products into a legal minefield. Now, for anyone operating in the U.S., this case from 2017 is a huge deal. The Supreme Court's decision in Lexmark came down hard in favor of international exhaustion. It basically confirmed that once a patent holder sells their product, doesn't matter if it's in Ohio or in Shanghai, they can't use U.S. patent law to stop that item from being imported and resold. This provided a ton of clarity for American businesses. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground here, from the basic ideas to some pretty tricky risks. So let's just boil it all down. What's the bottom line for you, the innovator? What are the key things you need to walk away with? Here's your strategic checklist, just 3 points. First, verify every sale. Is your source authorized? This is the foundation of all your rights. Second, read every contract. Look for those sneaky post-sale restrictions that could take away your freedom. And third, know your markets. If you're global, you have to understand the different exhaustion rules for every country you're in. Get these 3 right, and you're in a very powerful position. And all this really leaves us with one final big question. The first sale doctrine was created for a world of physical objects. But now, in an age of digital downloads, licensed software that's constantly updated, and incredibly complex global supply chains, is this principle still strong enough for the future? That's a huge question that courts and innovators are going to be wrestling with for years to come. Thanks for watching.